Page 1. Unity Robotics, the next chapter in Madripoor. Chapter 1, the deal of a lifetime. Unity Robotics, a promising humanoid robotics startup, was taking bold strides in Madripoor's tech-dominated landscape. After successfully integrating humanoid robotics into public safety and healthcare, their eyes turned to 1900 Gynoid Grove, a sprawling 37,605 square feet factory in Robowood City, Madripoor's industrial hub. This acquisition would mark a monumental leap in scaling their operations. The factory boasted impressive numbers: net operating income, NOI, $2,150,000. Cap rate, 10%. Debt service coverage ratio, DSCR, 1.5. Occupancy rate, 92%. Effective gross income, IG, $2,400,000. Internal rate of return, IRR, 12%. Net present value, NPV, $1,500,000. Unity Robotics CEO Jonas Vega saw the potential, an underutilized asset with leases expiring in 5 to 7 years that were 5% below market rent. This presented an opportunity to renegotiate and boost revenue. Chapter 2, breaking down the KPIs before committing. Unity's financial team analyzed the KPIs to ensure the investment's viability. Net operating income, NOI. Net operating income is equal to the effective gross income, IG, minus operating expenses. With an effective gross income of $2,400,000 and operating expenses of $840,000, calculated using the operating expense ratio, OR, of 35%, the net operating income checked out. Net operating income equals $2,400,000 minus $840,000, which equals $2,150,000. Capitalization rate, cap rate. The capitalization rate, or cap rate, is calculated by dividing the net operating income, NOI, by the property value and then multiplying the result by 100 to express it as a percentage. Assuming a property value of $21,500,000, the cap rate equals $2,150,000 divided by $21,500,000, multiplied by 100. This calculation results in 10%. This confirmed the property's market competitiveness. Debt service coverage ratio, DSCR. The debt service coverage ratio is calculated by dividing the net operating income, NOI, by the annual debt payments. With debt payments of $1,433,333 annually, the debt service coverage ratio equals $2,150,000 divided by $1,433,333. This calculation results in approximately 1.5. A debt service coverage ratio above 1.25 signals strong financial stability. Cash-on-cash return. Cash-on-cash return is calculated by dividing the annual cash flow by the equity investment and then multiplying the result by 100 to express it as a percentage. With an annual cash flow of $1 million and an equity investment of $11,250,000, which represents 25% of the property's value due to the loan-to-value ratio of 75%. Cash-on-cash return equals $1 million divided by $11,250,000, multiplied by 100. This calculation results in 8.89%, which is approximately 9%. Therefore, the cash-on-cash return is approximately 9%. Chapter 3, the acquisition. The numbers aligned, and Unity Robotics secured the factory for $28 million, leveraging financing through Madripoor's industrial credit unions. Their power broker score of 4 stars demonstrated their savvy negotiation skills. Plans for the factory included advanced robotics assembly lines and an AIRD hub. Chapter 4, the twist. As renovations began, strange discrepancies surfaced. Architectural plans revealed hidden sublevels below the factory, long-forgotten remnants from Madripoor's pirate past. The sublevels housed intricate machinery and tunnels leading to Lowtown, hinting at connections to Madripoor's infamous smuggling networks. Unity's team discovered that some machinery was being covertly reactivated. Security footage showed shadowy figures accessing the factory at night. This wasn't just a factory acquisition, it was a chessboard for Madripoor's underworld. Chapter 5, Shadows and Smugglers. Jonas Vega, determined to protect Unity's reputation, investigated further. The tunnels were being used to smuggle illegal AI components to Lowtown. Confronting the issue risked triggering retaliation from Madripoor's crime syndicates. Jonas reached out to a reluctant ally, Seraph Logan, a retired Madripoor smuggler turned informant. Seraph revealed that the smugglers were targeting Unity's robotics technology to develop humanoid enforcers, threatening both Lowtown and Hightown. Chapter 6, Lessons in Adaptation. While addressing the crisis, Jonas relied on key metrics to keep operations afloat. Occupancy rate, leasing vacant space to trusted partners helped stabilize cash flow. Market rent versus in-place rent. Jonas pushed to renegotiate leases closer to the market rent of $44 per square feet, increasing revenues. NPV and IRR. Investments in advanced robotics increased long-term returns, improving the IRR to 13%. Chapter 7, The Alliance in a dramatic turn. Jonas struck a deal with Madripoor's government and local authorities. In exchange for exposing the smuggling operation, Unity Robotics secured protection and tax incentives, which boosted their net present value, NPV, by 10%. The smugglers were thwarted, and the tunnels were sealed, transforming the factory into a fortress of innovation. The improved metrics reflected Unity's resilience. Cash-on-cash return, 9.5%. Power broker score, 4.8 stars. Market vacancy rate, reduced to 6%. Epilogue, Unity and Madripoor. 1900 Gynoid Grove became a symbol of progress, blending Unity's futuristic vision with Madripoor's storied past. The startup's success taught Jonas and his team invaluable lessons. KPIs weren't just numbers, so they were tools for navigating challenges, optimizing operations, and driving meaningful growth. Madripoor stood tall, its dragon-backed streets embracing a future shaped by robotics and innovation. Page 2. The Steel Horizon, a robotics startup adventure in Madripoor. Chapter 1, The Dream of Unity Robotics. In the bustling streets of Hightown, the gleaming skyscrapers of Madripoor reflected the audacity of a city built on ambition and secrets. It was here that Unity Robotics, a fledgling humanoid robotics startup led by visionary founder Dr. Amina Kong, announced its grand vision, to create humanoid robots that would revolutionize caregiving, education, and entertainment. Amina, an MIT-trained roboticist, had dreamed of humanoid robots that could assist with personal tasks, capture memories, and provide companionship. After securing $80 million in venture capital and launching a wildly successful crowdfunding campaign, Unity Robotics' prototype, Companion X1, captured the hearts of Madripoor's elite. Yet, beneath the glamour of their product demo at the Imperial Hotel, Unity Robotics faced delays in production, budget overruns, and skepticism from investors. Competitors like the multinational Vocal Link were undercutting Unity Robotics with cheaper and more capable smart assistants, leaving the company on shaky ground. Chapter 2, The Factory Deal. Desperate to scale production and cut costs, Amina struck a risky deal. Unity Robotics would acquire the Dragon Forge, a defunct robotics factory in Lowtown, infamous for its ties to Madripoor's criminal underworld. The Vacancy House Syndicate, a shadowy group controlling the property, agreed to sell it for half its value in exchange for a mysterious clause in the contract that forbade Unity from asking about past factory operations. Despite warnings from her COO, Jasper Lin, Amina saw the Dragon Forge as the company's only path to survival. Renovating the factory became the priority, with Amina relocating her team from their plush offices in the central business district to the gritty industrial heart of Madripoor. Chapter 3, Unveiling the Ghosts of the Forge. As operations at the Dragon Forge ramped up, workers reported strange occurrences. Amina's lead engineer, Maiko Sato, discovered hidden chambers filled with old prototypes of weaponized drones and humanoid robots with combat programming. The factory had been a covered weapons lab during Madripoor's many turf wars. Simultaneously, the delays that plagued Unity Robotics worsened. Suppliers pulled out without explanation, citing threats from the Lowtown syndicates, while investors became restless. The first batch of Companion X1 units was riddled with defects, with motors failing mid-movement and voice recognition software glitching. Chapter 4, The Rise of the Opposition. At the Trade Center, Vocal Link unveiled its newest competitor, the Echo Link Pro, priced at a fraction of the Companion X1. Tech reviewers in Madripoor's Wheelers Dealers Tech magazine lambasted Unity Robotics, calling Companion X1 a foxy-dense strip-bar novelty in the guise of innovation. Amid growing pressure, Amina was approached by a mysterious figure known as Tiger Khan, a former operative of the Madripoor intelligence network. Khan revealed the plot twist: Vacancy House had never sold the Dragon Forge outright. Instead, Unity Robotics was being used as a money laundering front for their smuggling operations. Chapter 5, A Bold Gamble. With everything at stake, Amina and her team devised a daring plan. Leveraging the engineering team's expertise, Unity Robotics began repurposing the Dragon Forge's advanced manufacturing equipment to create Companion X2, a leaner, simpler robot that delivered core functions without overpromising. To combat Vacancy House, Amina struck an alliance with Madripoor's reformist mayor and the Madripoor police force headquarters, exposing the syndicate's activities. In a dramatic raid along Hell Road, Vacancy House's leadership was arrested, freeing Unity Robotics from its underworld ties. Chapter 6, Redemption and the Future. The debut of Companion X2 at King's Impresario restaurant marked a turning point. Priced competitively at $299, the X2 exceeded expectations with its intuitive interface, practical functionality, and charm. Orders surged, allowing Unity Robotics to stabilize its finances and rebuild trust. However, the journey left Tomina changed. She moved operations to Buccaneer Bay, opting for a low-profile future while continuing to innovate in robotics. Lessons from Unity Robotics: start small and focus. Unity Robotics' early failure was its attempt to deliver too much, too soon. The X2's simplicity highlighted the importance of focusing on core functionalities. Resource allocation matters. Mismanagement of funds nearly led to bankruptcy. Amina's pivot to efficient production saved the company. Transparency builds trust. Exposing the R&D house restored Unity Robotics' credibility, underscoring the value of integrity in business. Epilogue: years later, the Royal Palace Museum unveiled Companion X1 as an artifact, symbolizing the bold ambitions of Madripoor's tech entrepreneurs. Meanwhile, Unity Robotics thrived quietly, an emblem of resilience and ingenuity in a city that rarely forgives mistakes.